Well, a bipartisan group of lawmakers from the U.S. met with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel this week. They showed solidarity with Israelis by supporting them against the horrific attacks from Hamas. One senator on that trip spoke with CBN's Matt Galka after arriving back in the United States.
We have spent the day in Israel meeting with a number of affected families and speaking with leaders.
Iowa Senator Joni Ernst traveled to Israel just days after the brutal attack from Hamas. She led a bipartisan congressional delegation to the Middle East that first met with leaders in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain.
I was very adamant about continuing our trip into Israel to show solidarity with Israeli leaders and the people of Israel against these horrific Hamas attacks, brutal, violent attacks.
The senator, along with 2 House Republicans and 3 Democrats, talked with Netanyahu about helping in the fight.
The prime minister shared with us different items that they might need. And of course, we need to make sure that we're reconstituting the Iron Dome.
As the number of dead and wounded continues to rise, Ernst says the conversations with survivors still stick with her. She met an Israeli family that defended themselves as Hamas terrorists invaded their farm.
The Hamas terrorists, as they invaded the home, bought some very precious time for their mother to escape, but their brother was murdered in this attack as well. They have no idea where their father is. They don't know his condition, if he's even still alive.
Ernst and a growing number of Republicans and Democrats have pushed the Biden administration to freeze $6 billion released to Iran as part of a prisoner swap deal. As accusations fly about Iran's possible role in Israel, pressure has grown, leading to reports that money is again frozen, although White House officials won't acknowledge it publicly.
I'm not going to talk about diplomatic conversations one way or another, Ed. What I can tell you is that every single dime of that money is still sitting in the Qatari bank. Not one dime of it has been spent.
Ernst says pressure must remain on the Biden administration to enforce Iranian sanctions.
This deal never should have happened in the first place, and I have been highly critical of the Biden administration for continuing to appease Iran. We know they are the largest state sponsor of terrorism. They fund organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah, the Houthis, and they create chaos in the Middle East. Iran fears peace. And so they continue to engage in these types of terror attacks against our friend and ally Israel.
Senator Ernst also said that the lack of a Speaker of the House in Congress was worrisome because it prevents the United States from providing any sort of congressional aid. She said that every ally they met with in the Middle East was concerned about the situation. Matt Galka, CBN News.
Well, we want you to know the truth behind the Jewish and Arab claims to the land of Israel. So we put together a DVD that gives the historical background to the news you're seeing today. It's called Whose Land Is It? It has the answers to questions such as whether or not Gaza and the West Bank are, quote, occupied territory, close quote. Why the Palestinian refugee crisis still remains a problem today, more than 70 years after the 1948 war. Well, you can receive a DVD copy of Whose Land Is It? It's for a gift of any dollar amount. All you have to do is go to cbn.com/whoseland or call us 1-800-700-7